Hello and welcome. You're watching Don Bosco Media Network. This is Abigail Carmelim bringing to you the Salesian news across the globe. After the many trips and appointments of the first day's Rector Major Father Angel Fernandez Artime had a lighter scheduled on the fifth day of his visit to the United States West. He spent Saturday, November 19th entirely in the San Francisco Bay Area. Always important and significant were the day's events, chief among which was the celebration of the Mass of Thanksgiving for the 125th anniversary of Salesian presence in the country. He spent some time with the provincial and his council and encouraged them in their continuing service to the province congregation and the church. He expressed his joy in seeing that the Salesians are serving a very diverse group of people in the province. The question of sending additional Salesian missionaries to serve the growing needs of the diverse groups of young people and their families in the western United States was also proposed to the Rector Major. After the meeting, the provincial and his council took the Rector Major and the regional Father Hugo Orozco to a Chinese restaurant in San Francisco's Chinatown for lunch to continue their fraternal time together. From November 13 to 18, the provincial chapter of the Salesian province of Mexico, Guadalajara, was held at the Bethsaida House in Amatitant in the state of Jalisco. In addition to evaluating the implementation of the 28th General Chapter and revising and amending the provincial directory, the chapter work focused on 4 topics of provincial interest: vocation animation, Salesians and laity, management of works, sustainability of works, and pastoral care and inclusive education. The chapter assembly was attended by 52 Salesians and 12 laymen and women invited by the MEG Provincial Father Filiberto Gonzalez Plasencia, who was also president of the chapter assembly. The governor of the provincial chapter was Father Sergio de la Cruz. On Saturday, 12 November 2022, one day before the feast day of the newly canonized saint, the Salesian family in TLS Vice Province celebrated the Thanksgiving Mass presided by His Eminence Cardinal Virgilio do Carmo da Silva, SDB, Archbishop of Delhi. It was a pleasure for the Salesian family to gather on such an occasion to celebrate the goodness of God showered upon the Church and the Salesian family through this newly canonized saint, a nurse and a lay Salesian brother. The Mass was being celebrated in Mary Help of Christians Parish, Comoro. The holiness of life that Zati has shown to the world and to us, as highlighted by Pope Francis, consists of his dedication to the sick, the poor, and the abandoned. With Zati's canonization, the way is now opened to all of us to fulfill our final purpose of life as Christians, to become a saint, added the Salesian Cardinal in his homily. However, as mentioned in the Gospel reading, the second question posed by a scholar of the law to Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" As members of the Salesian family, all are invited to treat others, the strangers, the poor and the abandoned, those in need, as our neighbors and as our brothers. Being our neighbor or our brothers means those whom we must love with our goodwill, and this love must be shown in concrete acts. Just like Zati, after giving up his dream of becoming a priest rather than choosing to become a lay brother, he dedicated himself totally to the care of the sick. This choice of Zati did not come overnight, rather it came out with full confidence and trust in God's plan. He got tuberculosis, a sickness that would bring him to give up his plan, and to get cured he relied on God's power. He believed that he would get cured through the intercession of Mary Help of Christians. He made a promise that after getting healed, he will offer his life for taking care of the sick. And indeed, he was healed of tuberculosis. He became a model like the Good Samaritan, Jesus himself, to show compassion and love from God to others, especially the sick. All members of the Salesian family were present: SDB, FMA sisters, Salesian cooperators, ADME, past pupils, and young people. Most of the rectors of the Salesian communities in TLS and other Salesian priests concelebrated in the Eucharist. Meanwhile, the former provincial of ITM, Father Andres Kaleja, SDB, graced the event with his presence and shared his missionary experience in Istanbul with all participants after the Mass. Members of the Rome Youth Ministry sector team, led by General Councillor Father Miguel Angel Garcia Morcunde, gathered in Madrid on November 16 and 17. The meeting was part of the process of seeking synergies that the Youth Ministry YM sector has undertaken with the congregation's national youth ministry centers. In this case, the point of reference was the Salesian National Youth Ministry Center in Madrid, CNSPJ in Spanish, one of the most important centers for reflection and coordination of youth ministry in Europe, serving Salesian Spain and the congregation itself. Thus, the meeting was also attended by members of the CNSPJ coordination with its director, Father Jose Miguel Nunes. During these 2 days, both teams had the opportunity to reflect on evangelization and the first announcement as one of the great challenges of Salesian youth ministry in the context of a weary Europe, as one of the reflections presented by the sector team put it. The CNSPJ also presented a reflection on evangelization as a complex mediation of the church missionary action in today's world. CNSPJ members also shared the ongoing renewal process and their working methodology. The 6th Biennial National Educational Conference of Don Bosco Schools (NECDBS) was held at Don Bosco Senior Secondary School, Vaduthala from 16 to 19 November 2022. The educational conference was aimed at promoting quality education, exploring modern horizons in pedagogical methods, and refocusing the school education system on the preventive system proposed by St. John Bosco. The 3-day conference had pedagogical sessions, panel discussions, reflections, and deliberations on the theme Enhancing Child-Centered, Participatory and Experiential Learning Spaces. Manish Tiwari, MP, inaugurated the conference. In his inaugural address, Tiwari invited all the delegates to play a vanguard role in promoting critical thinking and the ability to pause and reflect. The Honorable Justice Sophie Thomas delivered the keynote address, exhorting to enable the students to identify the wonder within them and to help them to dream and fly high. Father Cliff Tellis, Salesian Provincial of the province of Goa, presided over the inaugural function. Father Tellis asked the delegates to lead the young minds of the Don Bosco institutions out of their comfort and fear zones to the zones of growth and learning. Father Bicho Michael, SDB Salesian Regional Councillor for South Asia, and Father Garcia Miguel Angel, SDB Salesian General Councillor of Youth Ministry, felicitated the gathering online. The inaugural session had the presence of Father Shalbind Kalancheri, Vice Provincial of the Salesian Province of Bangalore, Father Joy Nidam Prambal, Economist of the Salesian Province of Bangalore, Father Babu Manisari, General Convener, 6 NECDPS, and other delegates from various Salesian schools across India. So viewers, with that we have come to the end of today's edition. Till we meet again, thank you for joining us.